What's up, man? It's your big brother K-Rino. Check it out, man. Ice Cube is coming under fire from the black community and getting a lot of backlash because he recently, um, I guess, agreed to meet and correspond with the Trump administration to discuss ways that the black community can be benefited through a Trump presidency, I guess. He has a plan that he created called Contract with Black America, where he listed what I would refer to as demands that any of these candidates would be obligated to adhere to if they want a chance at the black vote. Things that are not normally placed on the table, things that are not normally addressed by any of these candidates publicly. We watch these debates, you never see the deep, deep, deep issues come up and come out of any of their mouths. So Cube created this contract with Black America where he discussed prison reform, police reform, bank lending, and many other things that he believes and many others believe that will be beneficial to black people. And if any president wants our vote, they would have to look into those things and legitimately work and strive towards bringing them into fruition. So Twitter caught fire because the first thing that was coming out of people's mouths was, "Oh man, Cube's selling out. Oh man, they got Cube. Cube's selling out. Man, why is he beat?" And I think that's a mistake to try to put Ice Cube in that category because this is a man who's been at the forefront fighting for black people, been an entrepreneur, and has employed many black people throughout his career. As a rap artist that has been through the trials and tribulations of working on record labels that had beat him out of money. He had to educate members of his own group that didn't catch on in the beginning, and he ended up eventually leaving NWA because he had the foresight to peep the game, what was going on when others didn't. So he's always been a smart guy that could kind of detect when there was some mistreatment and some trickery going on. Now, both sides reached out to Cube in terms of this agreement that he created, this plan that he created. And Cube, I guess, reached out to them as well. But here's where it gets tricky at. The Trump administration was the side that said, okay, yeah, we'll meet with you, Q, we'll discuss it, however the case. I don't know if it was an in-person meeting or whatever, but they would agree to talk about it. So that's what got out. The Biden administration, they said, well, we'll discuss it after the election. Okay, let me break down the trickery in that. Because, first of all, you don't even know if you're going to win the election. But let's just say that you do. Let's just say that the Democrats win the White House in a few weeks during this election. I don't trust you to discuss this after the election. And maybe they're saying, well, we haven't won yet, so it doesn't do any good. But nah, I disagree with that. Because if you want the black vote, you should be willing to say, let's deal with this and lay this out on the table and see what we can get. But we've been dealing with that for too many years where the promises come beforehand and we'll discuss it after the fact. And then after the fact, you catch amnesia. So watch the shady Democrats on that particular move. Now let's talk about the shady Republicans. The shady Republicans in Trump's administration, they're willing to discuss it because they're fighting for the White House. He's like, man, I got to do and say whatever it is that I have to say in order to trick these black folks to get this seat. So Trump had recently come out with what he called the Platinum Plan for black people. He called it the Platinum Plan, where he basically promised like 300 million jobs for black people. He promised 500,000 black-owned businesses. He promised high standards of policing in the black neighborhoods, and home ownership opportunities and things of that nature. And my question is, why are you just now promising all that? You've been in office for 4 years. Where was the plan and the motivation to do all that um, in this first 4 years, in this first term? And even if people say, well, it takes time, he couldn't do it. Okay, where was the plan? Why are you laying that out right now? Listen to me. These are promises that not only he won't keep, he's not even going to be able to keep if some magical way he wanted to. So a lot of what Cube has in his plan, the Trump administration has said they will incorporate it into their plan. And people are upset because they're putting Cube in a Kanye-like category. They're putting Cube in a Diamond and Silk-like category. They're putting Cube in the category with all of those um, sellout black preachers that met with Trump years and years ago. These people are fighting for favor and status and position, and they don't really care about black people. Cube has a long history of working with black people, and just even as recently as a month or two ago, Cube went on a Twitter rampage defending Minister Farrakhan, just going in, constantly going in, checking cats like Jake Tapper and all these different clowns. And so you telling me that overnight he's going to make a 180 and just decide that he's just going to sell out black people like that? I just don't see that. I don't buy into that. I lean more towards the the concept of looking at it like from Moses and Pharaoh. And not to say Cube is a prophet or anything like that, but I'm just the analogy of, even when you are dealing with wicked leadership, wicked rulers, wicked kings, wicked presidents, traditionally, men and women who still have the mind and the heart to want to save the nation and make the nation better, make the country better for all people, they still will come to that leader, even if the leader is dirty. Moses was sent by God and said, hey, tell Pharaoh, let my people go. We don't look at Moses as a sellout. Oh, Moses sold out, man. He went and met with Pharaoh. No. This is to give the dirty leader an opportunity to fix the problem. See, that way, if the destruction comes, he can never say, well, I didn't know. Nobody warned me. Nobody told me. See, that's a pattern. And Cube understands that. This is just my assessment of it. Cube understands that. So he's presented a unapologetic black agenda, because the one thing that we always do would make the mistake of doing or not doing is we don't place demands on the people who swear up and down they want our vote so bad. Well, they do want to vote, but they swear up and down that they care about black America so much. But in reality, they just want to vote. We are only as good as the numbers that we can provide and accumulate on their behalf. That's it. So we fall for that. Oh, he came to the church. He sung in the choir with us. He came in the neighborhood and he held my baby. He took a selfie with me. We got to stop falling for that, because there's an expectation that has been developed by both sides, but really the Democratic Party is really the ones who we've pledged our allegiance to over the years. And those days have to be played out. We can't do that no more. We can't do that anymore. So Cube is not wrong for saying, okay, let me show y'all what we got. Let me show you some of the things that are legitimately beneficial, that would legitimately be beneficial to black people. Not that crap that y'all, not that watered down generic crap that y'all are putting out there and promising or speaking about as if you understand what's going on with black people because you don't. And the individuals who, because that was a lady, Katrina Pearson, who works in the Trump administration. He came out and tweeted, "Hey, shout out to Cube for stepping up and being a leader." And so that gives the presentation like, you see, Cube's with us now, and that's, you got to watch that kind of movement from people, because for her to post that like that, it makes people think otherwise of Cube. And I just don't think he's built like that. He's not one of those bootlicking type of guys like that. He didn't even have to do what he did. He did it because, look, I'm gonna give y'all an opportunity to fix it. I'm gonna give y'all a chance to see if you about what you say you're about. And all of those who will claim, well, Trump's not racist. All those who will claim, well, no, Joe Biden's not racist. Okay, let me put this plan before you and see what you do. But they've all had opportunities. People talk about Biden's 40 something year record of politics, that he's never done anything for black people. Yeah, you're right. And Trump's had 4 years in office, and people will throw out these generic little plans. Oh, he did the first step program. Oh, he did the opportunity zones, which, when broken down into detail, is trickery in all of it. But that's a whole nother video. I'll make that one day, to break down what all that crap means that he's claiming is for black people. And dummies fall for it. See, he did this, he did that. You ain't even went into the depths of that stuff, man. So we need to get off of Cube's head, man. As black people, don't be that ignorant to fall for that. Get off Cube's head and look deeper into an action, instead of reading a headline and taking off running with that headline, because I think that's the mistake that a lot of us made. This man got a record, a history of riding for black people. All of you talk about the big three and everything. This man is an entrepreneur, and he employs black folks. And he ain't just gonna wake up overnight and decide to sell out to Trump, because Trump ain't got nothing that Cube won't. So y'all leave y'all comments down below. Tell me what y'all think about that, and hit your big brother up. Subscribe to the channel. Peace.